are on the Money Talk Show. And like David's hat says, we are blessed. We are blessed because we get football on Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, and then Saturday and Sunday. It's football pretty much every day. So it's kind of a bettor's paradise. Got to look at the positives. A lot of negatives going on right now with COVID running rampant all over the world. So try to stay positive, stay safe out there. And look into the positives like David's hat, man. We are all blessed to be able to watch football and bet on football and hang out and talk sports. So David, love the hat, man. I need to get one of those. Maybe we can make one into like a Mets version with the signing of Buck Showalter. Usually he comes in and becomes a coach or manager, whatever you want to call him, and then a couple years later they win the World Series. So whenever we fire Buck, they'll probably win. So good move there. Now, David, talking about these week 16 lines, and before we even get there, man, the NFL, back and forth we go, back and forth we go. Who is the top dogs out there right now? Because Brady and the Bucks, they look terrible. They couldn't score a point against the New Orleans Saints. Kansas City's looking good again, but you got a favorite right now. Do you have a bet on any of these teams to really, stand ahead of the rest of the field right now for the Super Bowl or AFC, NFC championships?
Green Bay and New England. I'm saying for weeks now, England is playing the best football, has the best coach. They don't have the best players. Green Bay has the best quarterback, and they're playing solid football as well. So those are the two. I just think Kansas City still, Chargers were missing some key players, and DJ was playing. Kelsey had one catch in the first game. I don't think Kansas City is going to make it through. They will go to the playoffs and they'll lose early. Dallas never makes it, and they always look good. So I'm not big on Dallas. I think New England and Green Bay are the best bets that you can have.
Yeah, New England's look pretty good, but also a little bit shaky right now. But let's look ahead to Week 16, and we got some lines already out on DraftKings, and I pulled up a couple of bets that, look, I couldn't go to StatSational this week. Big shout out to him, but he took his pops out to Pebble Beach Bayou, and they golfed all weekend. So big shout out to StatSational. When you do well all your life, you're able to take those trips, and it's good to reminisce with your pops and go play some golf out by you in Cali. But we got some lines for week 16 already out. It's early. It's Tuesday night. There's games going on right now, so things could change. But the first team we're looking at right now are the Minnesota Vikings. +3 at home against the Rams. The Rams are playing right now while we're recording this, and they look pretty shaky right now against the Seahawks. Stafford is still missing throws. Our guy Anthony likes the Vikings at home to kind of show up. This is Kirk Cousins' spot to show up. What's your thoughts here with these Rams? Why are they struggling? And can you get behind the bet of the Minnesota Vikings early in the week?
I can, and I think that's a great bet. That's one of my favorite bets, the Vikings +3. And I'll tell you, the reason the Rams are shaky is because they're individuals, and you have a bunch of great individual players, but football is a team sport. That's why, although I think New England's shaky, I don't. I think they play team football. I think they're positioning themselves for the playoffs, where I think the Rams are not positioning themselves for the playoffs. And one of those games is going to be how weak they're going to perform against Minnesota.
And things will come up throughout the week with so much COVID running through the NFL. These lines are going to change. So if you do like a line, I would suggest, laying maybe half your bet down now and waiting for the dust to settle by Saturday or Sunday. But we got some games late on Sunday. It just happens to be our look ahead, lines. We really like some late games. And the first team that we like late on Sunday are the Kansas City Chiefs, -7.5. I just don't think the Steelers can put up enough points to hang in with the Chiefs. I know this Chiefs team is not the same team, and they have some people that are already ruled out right now, some skill players. I think Tyreek and possibly even Kelsey, both these guys might be ruled out. But 7.5 with Mahomes, the Steelers go on the road. I think they have enough weapons to overcome. If Mahomes gets called out, it's a no bet, stay away. But as long as he's out there, Big Ben and the boys, I don't think they can put up enough points to hang with the Chiefs. How do you feel about the Chiefs at home against the Steelers?
Well, I think if Tyreek and Kelsey are out, it's a really good bet, the Steelers. I think if either of them are playing and Mahomes is playing, I think you got to go ahead, give up the points, take Kansas City, because the Steelers, as much as Kansas City's not for real, the Steelers aren't either. So, but I just think that without Kelsey and Tyreek, the the Chiefs are nothing. If you take away all the plays they made last week, they were nothing. The week before, nothing. Those two, it's just when you got a quarterback that can put the ball on the money the majority of the time, like Mahomes, and you got guys who can get open almost every time, meaning Tyreek and Kelsey, it makes the game on offense pretty darn easy.
No, I hear that. Now, this team, you call them, I don't know, maybe fraudulent to some extent, where they can't have those big wins. And Dak's been struggling. The offense has been struggling. The combination in Zeke and Pollard is working, but their defense, it's what's really carrying this team. And I think that takes pressure off of Dak and Zeke and everybody else. I do think they have a run. I'm not a Cowboys fan by any means. I grew up hating the Cowboys because I was a Niners fan during those Dion and Irvin days and Troy Aikman. I'm a big Steve Young fan. But these Cowboys, man, I think they're for real. I think they can, if they stay healthy, they have a lot of weapons. They're like the San Diego Padres of Major League Baseball, in the NFL. They have too many good players. They don't know where to go with the ball here. So I love the Cowboys here. I think Washington is banged up, man. They're banged up right now. I think they cover this at home pretty easily. And the Washington football team, they just don't have enough weapons to keep pace with the Cowboys at home. And if this defense stands on its own, they're going to be a real contender. Do you like the Cowboys 10.5? And you tell me why. Is it just the past, or is it this team that you don't believe?
Yeah, history. It's human nature. You study history and you understand human nature. I do think Dallas is a good bet this week because these are the games they win. These are the games at home that they win against banged up teams that aren't that good. But when it comes push to shove and they got to go toe to toe, and you look at that defense, it's going to reveal itself and in the game, and they're going to lose the big game. And why? Because human nature never changes. When you have the pressure that they have from the ownership down, the only time that team, with Aikman, by the way, the only time that team won Super Bowls is when Jerry Jones stepped aside and let the coach, let the general manager manage. And this is not happening right now. It's why they lose the big games, because when you got to make the big call and you're looking up to the booth to decide whether you go for it on fourth down or not, or you're worried about, history repeating itself, guess what happens? History repeats itself. I do think this is a good bet this week for the reason that history does tell you Dallas wins these games every single time.
I don't know, man. Something tells me McCarthy has enough clout to kind of say, this is my team. Jason Garrett didn't. Jason Garrett was, that was Jerry Jones's team, all the way 100%. But I think McCarthy has enough clout, and he's been around the league long enough, and he's won one to at least, make his own calls. But one thing I want to ask you before we get to this Miami Dolphins bet, sitting back, watching the Saints, even without Sean Payton, shut out Tom Brady and the Bucs. I was shocked that it happened, but I shouldn't be shocked because it happens every time. My question to you is, look, I always want to get an edge. And if I'm in, playing daily fantasy or betting, I'll go ask somebody who I think is better than me and ask him for a favor, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Why does no coaching staff or organization give Sean Payton a call when they got to match up against Brady and be like, what the hell do you keep on doing to stop this guy? Because it looks so simple that they just and there was some injuries there, and Gronk didn't look right, and Godwin got hurt, Evans got hurt, but they did it earlier. They did it last year. Tom got the best of him in the playoffs, but like, why don't other coaches figure this out? Because he has tape for like years upon years and years, and it looks like only Sean Payton in the States has figured it out.
You don't have to have Sean Payton. You can watch the film, right? You can see how he puts pressure on Tom Brady. That's the difference. Tom Brady, they hit him early, they hit him often, they rushed him early, they rushed him often, they put him out of his rhythm. And those are the times historically that Tom Brady loses, is when you get to Tom Brady early and you get him thinking, the last thing you want to do is let that man get into his rhythm, into his flow. If you can disrupt his flow with interference, and I think, otherwise, look at the film, you're going to see the reason that the Saints beat them is they put pressure on Tom Brady early. They hit him early, they rush him early, and they get him in his own head, which isn't easy
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, it looks so simple too. It's not like the Saints have the best defense in the world, but they just know how to play against Brady. And I find it crazy that no other team has figured it out. Like in baseball, you can kind of figure things out. Okay, this guy can't hit this pitch, really attack him this way or that way. But in football, I know it's 11 players and there's a lot of execution that needs to happen. But I would think somebody it's like so one-sided. He dominates everybody else except for Belichick and the Saints. Like there's got to be some in between there where I just think that someone's got to figure it out. But the Dolphins, look, they're banged up, but they've been winning games and they've been playing tough. This defense is playing tough. They should be back at full strength here, dealing with some COVID, but you never know. Dolphins going against your Saints. I know you got some love for the Saints. Saints coming off a big win. This is a game that I'm not 100% sure on because I'm not a Tua guy. I don't think I'll ever be a Tua guy. But what's your call here? Dolphins versus Saints? Because this is a no play for me. But Anthony's looking ahead and he sees some value in this line.
Yeah, no, I think New Orleans still. I think you're going to see the momentum carry through the end of the season goes, and they're going to be pretty darn confident. Tua is not. So, I'm leaning towards the Saints in this one, and go ahead and give up the 3.
All right, David, I appreciate you taking the time out of your relaxing day. I'm not going to call it a busy day. David's on a beautiful island right now, and that's why some internet choppiness, but he takes the time out of his day to come here and give some lessons out to everybody. David, you got any lessons right now? One little knowledge gem that you want to drop on everybody before you head out of here?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I apologize for the choppiness, but what you resist persists. And you're going to see that with Dallas. What you resist persists is my lesson for the day.
All right, David, appreciate you stopping by. This is the Early Look Money Talk Show. Week 16. We'll be back next week with some more bets. And as we inch closer and closer to the playoffs, you'll get a lot more sharp plays. Make sure you go download the Sharp app and follow David at David Meltzer on all the social media platforms. And we'll be back next week. Money Talks, and we are out of here.